Greetings, everyone, and a very warm welcome to another edition of Marketing the Invisible. I am joined today by one of the world's great endurance athletes, because this is actually the fourth time we had this interview scheduled. And with COVID, and it's all been my bad, I've had to ask Matt to postpone 3 times. So fourth time is a charm, apparently. Matt, very warm welcome to the show, and thank you so much for your persistence.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Where are you hanging out? Whereabouts in the world are you?
I am in a place called Carmarthenshire, which is in Wales in the UK. It's I come from London and the Midlands in the UK, and we recently landed here. But it's a lovely part of the world, beautiful, lush green landscapes. So if you're in Australia, think about that.
Beautiful. And what I have to ask, what took you to Wales? Was it love, or was it work, or was it just the lifestyle, or?
It was lifestyle, really. We always wanted to get rural. I'm a London lad originally, and this is as far away from London as I could probably get. So, but I'm back in London every now and again, but it is nice to get, a nice rest, a nice break.
Good on you. Good on you. So values-driven lifestyle, move from London to South Wales. Folks, that's probably pertinent because Matt's a brand and culture strategist. And these are really... Branding and culture are really two wings of the same bird. People often don't associate them, but you're going to learn a little bit about more why they are intertwined in a moment. He helps business leaders develop and align around a powerful brand strategies which inspire. You can attract top performers, you keep top performers, you sleep better at night. It's good karma when your brand is aligned to the culture. Interestingly, he was recently listed, and get this, drum roll I think is deserved, one of the UK's top 50 business advisors. Now, there's about 1 million in the UK, so this is terrific kudos. Matt, thanks for being on the show. Title today is How to Build Workplace Cultures That People Want to Be a Part of. Our time starts now. 7 minutes. Who's your ideal client?
So I like to work with Maverick leaders, Maverick CEOs usually, or it could be anyone on the C-suite, who basically want to make change happen. But when they look behind them, they just feel like they're slowed down. They're like wading through treacle. Lots of people are pulling in different directions. They want to grow. They want high growth, right? But they're sort of stopped. So I kind of am wheeled in to add the energy, to add the framework around how we're going to take ourselves from where we are today to the potential of tomorrow.
So tell us a little bit more about that. You might have already answered this, but question 2 is the problem you solve. Is take them from the treacle or molasses of today, feeling a bit sticky and stuck, to where they want to get to tomorrow. Maverick entrepreneurs, so they're thinking outside the 9 dots and probably a bit frustrated with how slow things are. Anything else you want to add to describe the problem you solve?
Yeah, I think what they see when they look inside their organization is misalignment. There is no kind of glorious narrative that everybody's sort of pulling towards. Often people are in it for themselves. I often I feel sorry for some CEOs, particularly new in post, because I kind of see them as like trying to herd a pride of lions, right? Because everybody's got there. Or cats, but more lions, because these are not just normal cats, Tom, right? These are ferocious people who basically have got to where they've got to because they're fantastic at what they do in their function. But now they've got to kind of all work together, and lions don't like working together, and it's difficult. And so if you're thrust into the pride as the top lion, suddenly you've got to kind of get these people moving in the same direction. And there's often a lot of powerful personalities, and most of what I do to try and navigate that.
Wow, that's challenging. So let's go to symptoms. Question 3, what are some of the typical symptoms? So you've got this leader in an organization, this Maverick, who's trying to herd these lions. What else is going on in their daily business life that would give them a heads up they need to reach out to you?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is they see a lot of churn in the business. So this is quite an obvious symptom. There's a lot of people coming and going. Like just look at the maths, right? If you've got over, I would say 5% of your business every year, as in posts leaving, I think that's a challenge for you. So and there's obviously a cost to rehire those people, and there's often kind of a bit of a bit of an understanding that in some parts of the business, there's kind of like this toxic culture, right? There's kind of people at each other's throats. There's a lot of bad behavior. I often look at it and I'm often wheeled in when there's a lot of siloed thinking. So you might even have a high performing function, but they might just be on their own and not talking to anyone else in the business. So what we've got to try and do is bring accountability, bring a way, a culture that people kind of can be high performing, but actually enjoy what they're doing. And I think that comes with it comes with a commitment to that from the leadership team, and then the willingness to hold themselves accountable and their teams accountable towards something other than their own kind of tiny short-term metrics that they've been given. So if the leadership team are open to that, and half of my job sometimes is to persuade them to be open to that, then I think you can start to make progress, and ultimately, right, create the momentum and the scalability that often these businesses really desire, particularly from at the top. Yeah.
So 3 minutes left. So what would you say are a couple of the top mistakes that leaders tend to make in these situations?
So really interesting. I think what some leaders do, is that they try and fix bits, right? So they'll parachute themselves in, or they'll try and go in and they'll sort something out. That's one thing they do, but then they don't look at the whole, right? So I think you have to look at the whole system and ask yourself the question, is this system operating correctly? Have I got the right design in place for that? I think the other thing that they try and do, Tom, often is maybe, and I see this in a lot of HR or people teams, is they'll do something like a little initiative. I know everybody can have their birthdays off or something, and they do that, and they feel then that is enough to create the culture that they want, and it's kind of like a token gesture, and I think it doesn't work. I think again, you need to look at the whole system. You need to have something that all makes sense. So I can help people with that, basically.
Okay, so let's thank you for that. So let's go to 2 minutes left, so I better hurry. One top tip you can give people, whether they work with you or not, one thing they could sit down and do that might take them a step in the right direction.
Sure. So I've got a framework which kind of takes people through what I call, first of all, finding the big idea. This is kind of known as your brand purpose. There's a lot of stuff about that out there. So I think you've got to do that. And by the way, from that, usually you can build on that and create values, which are the things that you really want to hold yourself accountable to, your behaviors, how you see those values show up. And then you can create a framework from which to create and invest in activities which actually will enhance and encourage and reward and recognize those in an organization. So my kind of big tip would be, you've got to have that war cry. You've got to find your big idea, which is at the heart of your narrative, and everything needs to ladder into that.
Right, because that's the thing that people can gather around. That's the thing that that's the narrative you're talking about, I suppose, at least a part of it. So let's 1 minute left, 2 questions to go. Valuable free resource. Where could people go to opt in and find out more about your work and get more value on these ideas?
Sure. So couple of places. First is my website, mrmattdavies.me. That's Mr. M-R, Matt, M-A-T-T, Davies, D-A-V-I-E-S.me. And on there, after a couple of seconds, you'll be an annoying box will jump up and alert you to the fact that you can download a free ebook called Think Brand, 3 essential tools to align your people around brand thinking. And that really is my message, really. Brand and the thinking of the brand is the Trojan horse.
Terrific. Mr. Matt with 2 T's, Davies, IES.me. Go get it. 12 seconds left. What's the one question I should have asked you but didn't?
Well, I've got a big beard. How many years did it take me to grow this beard? Many years is the answer. Many years.
How many is many years?
Probably about 10 years now going on. So
all right. Matt Davies, thanks so much for your time.
Pleasure. Cheers. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.